American track and field athlete Gwen Berry recently caught hellfire, literally, online because she decided to seemingly protest the American flag at an Olympic event. So, this woman by the name of Gwen Berry is an Olympic hammer thrower. I believe at this particular event she came in like third place or something like that. And during the national anthem, she turned away from it. And if you know anything about this country's history, especially its recent history in regards to trends and things pertaining to the flag and the national anthem, it's nothing pretty. And it causes these debates and it gets really nasty and people say these very absurd things and they try to cancel you depending on what your stance is based upon this particular issue. So, as I just stated, the woman Gwen Berry protested the flag and she posted the picture on her Instagram. And the right, the conservatives, they came out in droves to cancel this woman. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this is because this is extremely ironic. Who are the people that are always talking about cancel culture? Cancel culture to the right is the worst thing in the world. Literally, it's worse than anything you can ever imagine. Don't cancel people. That's their whole shtick. Freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. Okay, this is a free country. This is America. This is the land of the free. You're free to express yourself, right? You have the freedom to protest, right? Peacefully, albeit. But whenever these things actually occur, especially when it's on the other side, when it's not with people whose ideologies they agree with, they go batshit crazy and they throw out all sort of principles that they would have once claimed that they had, that they held near and dear to their hearts. So these people on the right, they're anti-cancel culture and they're like pro-freedom of speech and just pro-freedom in general. All of that is bullshit. And I mean, it's been shown to be bullshit on several occasions. I mean, there's countless examples of it. This is just the latest. So she protests the flag here. And instead of wondering why she does it, instead of wondering what brought her to this point, they just instantly go to cancel. And they want her kicked off of the Olympic team because of this. They don't think she should be able to participate in a sport that she's most likely worked her entire life to be good at. I mean, you're among the best in the world when you're competing in the Olympics, right? They want to do all of that because she protested a flag, not caring about why, not caring about the journey that led her to that place, not caring about what they could do or what they could pressure the government do to fix the reasons why a certain group of people, black people in particular, feel apoplectic to the American flag or to the national anthem. None of that. Just instantly conformity, fall in line, complete subjugation to this piece of cloth that to you might not mean the same thing as it does to someone else. And it's incredibly striking, I must say, when you look at what happened with Colin Kaepernick, right? I mean, they basically canceled him. You know, he wasn't allowed back into the NFL. He couldn't play football anymore. All because of what he did with the national anthem. And what's so funny about this whole anthem debate, and something that I've never understood. So when George Floyd was killed last summer, and there were mass protests, and when there's mass protests, there's bound to be riots. And there were riots. And some of them got pretty nasty. Things were burned down, windows were broken. And what's the first thing these people on the right come out and say? Oh, look, man, George Floyd didn't deserve to die. You know, no unarmed African American deserved to die at the hands of the police. You know, I mean, look, I would support your cause if you weren't violent. If you were peaceful, I'd support you. Why you got to get violent? But when it's done peacefully, they don't support either. Did Gwen Berry go out and burn up a truck? Did Gwen Berry take the American flag down and step on it and spit on it? Did she set the American flag ablaze? Even if she did that, that's freedom of speech. The Supreme Court ruled that that's freedom of speech. But we're not even going to talk about that. She just simply turned away from the flag. You say you don't want people to protest violently. You say you want them to protest peacefully. When they protest peacefully, you still disagree. So the only logical conclusion that you arrive at is you don't want them to protest at all. You don't want any kind of dissent whatsoever. You just want to keep going along to get along, even if the society that we live in is incredibly corrupt and a certain group of people are being held back when others seemingly aren't, or at least as much. It's incredibly striking, as I said before, and it's this circle of reoccurring events, and it seems like we can never arrive at an answer because there doesn't seem to be an answer, because no matter what the oppressed do, they always find a reason to tie it back to, well, they did this wrong or this isn't correct. So they don't want any kind of dissent, none whatsoever. And so it's a very tricky game, and there is no outcome where everybody's happy. And I must say, this love fest, this adoration for the American flag and the national anthem, to the extent that I see it at times, is kind of disturbing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, you're an American. I'm an American. I take pride in, being born and raised in this country. But it's so bizarre when, honestly, it seems like certain people hold the flag and the anthem something symbolic to a higher standard than the human life of other people. I mean, it's incredibly confusing at times, and it's kind of sad, to be honest with you. Not to mention the fact that it's incredibly contradictory. Lil Nas X, remember when he came out with the little Satan shoe? Kristi Noem, I believe that's her name, the Republican governor of South Dakota, literally asked for him to be canceled. I mean, there's countless examples of it. Conservatives run into a problem that they don't like, and they want to cancel the person or cancel the entity, the corporation, whatever the case may be. They are these supposed crusaders for anti-cancel culture, but they want to cancel everything in sight that they don't agree with. They completely forget about free speech when it's for someone that they don't agree with. If it's a conservative that's being canceled by Democrats, which happens, they're crusaders, they're heroes, they're coming out, puffing out their chest, anti-cancel culture. But when it's the other side, they're singing a different tune. They're literally calling for this woman to be deplatformed, to be taken off of the Olympic team. They literally want to upend her career based off of this one instance of protesting the flag. They don't care about the issues. They don't care about why she's doing it. And they brought out this old picture of her holding the flag. I think it was in 2015, and she was looking very happy. And now they're using that against her, like, oh, you're not real, you're fake, you're not doing this because you really care about any particular issue. So people can't have enlightenments. People can't figure things out. People can't learn new information. What if she came to a different conclusion that she wasn't at in 2015? And now she knows more. And so her eyes were widened, and she sees this society, she sees the flag, the anthem, through a different lens now. And it makes her feel differently. So she wants to take a different approach when dealing with it. These people lack reason. They lack sincerity, they lack empathy. They lack everything you need to adequately deal with human beings. And it's incredibly sad to see.